a topic. It could be, file polling mechanism, depending on where your systems of records are, where you kind of getting all this account data from. So you're really positioning with services and events your enterprise for the next level of SOA, which is, it's called complex event processing, which is essentially an ability to correlate multiple events that are happening in the enterprise, during a certain period of time, throughout a certain period of time, and derive some higher level of intelligence. So, for instance, multiple events from account service or a trade service or a credit card service can be correlated to detect fraudulent activity. Perhaps they don't happen all at once. They happen throughout a certain time period. But again, so you're actually deriving, now that you've positioned your enterprise to have both services and events, you're now starting to derive a higher level of intelligence through complex event processing. And this is something that's pretty hot right now and promises to be even a greater value to the enterprise. But again, the way you position your enterprise to take advantage of complex event processing is through creating these enterprise events in context of projects as you create services as well. So let's talk a little bit about SOA platform. So this is the thing that has to host your services and your events, right? So you need infrastructure to run it. Within the last few years, we've done a lot of work around professional open source platforms, and we see this as an industry trend. And here I have a bunch of reasons why we kind of started gravitating towards professional open source versus large commercial packages. Number one, it allows you to start small and build incrementally. So this is a very good pattern for how SOA should be evolved in an enterprise. You don't want to put this one big thing, that does it all, and pay a lot of money for it, and then not use it for another 5 years. You want to build incrementally, prove value to the business, and as business kind of gets excited and keeps on funding, you want to grow this platform. You don't want to do it the other way around. So, a lot of open source platforms or a lot of open source components are, pretty much plug and play and allow you just to put a base layer in, for instance, just messaging and app server or some basic ESB, and then add business process management, business rules management, registries, XSLT processing as you go along versus, putting the whole thing in and having to support, this very large footprint. No single platform to rule them all. Again, because the space is changing so rapidly, the technology investing is evolving very quickly, you will not be able to find a platform, today that's going to satisfy all your SOA requirements. So this is more of hedging your bet. Again, not buying this one big monolithic system because chances are in 6 months it will be outdated or there'll be components out there that are better. So, you're going to hate yourself for doing that. Industry trend. Again, because we do a lot of work with Fortune 1000 enterprises, when we see these large enterprises moving towards professional services software, professional open source software, we know that, this is the trend and it's here to stay. These guys are running a lot of massive financial transactions. There's a lot of money riding on it, and they're not hesitant about going with professional open source. So we see this as an industry trend where, within the next 3 to 5 years, most of the middleware is going to be open source within the market, except for, some very high-end pieces, some real intellectual property type of things. Wherever it's commodity, whatever it's plug and play, professional open source seems to be the thing that's prevailing right now. Faster pace of innovation. There is a lot of talent out there. Again, this space is evolving very quickly, so there is a lot of talent out there that's working on the next thing, the higher performing thing. And the community, the way open source works, kind of fosters that innovation, allows the innovation to take place at a faster pace versus, structured R&D that a lot of large companies put in place. SOA inside. So something important about SOA infrastructure. It should really mimic what you're trying to do with your service-oriented architecture in your enterprise. Essentially, it should be plug and play. It shouldn't be one, the reason why you're putting services or service-oriented architecture in place is there is no point-to-point connection. There is no tightly bound connections from your application, business applications, to these back-end services. You want to decouple everything. Your SOA infrastructure should not be any different. It should be really, mimicking what's going on in your enterprise. So it should have SOA inside the infrastructure. It should be plug and play. Components should be communicating